G'day, welcome back to RC Model Reviews. Now today I was going to review the Jumper T16. This is the Hall effect unit with the built-in RF, multi-protocol RF module. I did have a quick look at the earlier one that they sent me, but that was a pre-production, well, early production prototype. It had the module in the back here and obviously had a hole for the antenna. And I did have some issues with this, but it was a very early one. So they've sent me the new improved version here. And I've been looking at it and I'm really impressed, but I'm not reviewing it today for one very good reason. I'll put it aside because we'll come back to that later in another video, but I want to talk about this. I want to talk about FrSky. Does this look like a mess? That's because FrSky is a damn mess. They really are. I'm having a rant. Today is ranty day, and I don't rant often on RC Model Reviews, but I'm going to rant today because I've spent the last 3 days trying to get the total and utter mess that is the R9 system working. Honestly, it is a dog's breakfast. And I'm going to point out the problems that I'm having now. Originally, as most regular viewers know, I was the guy that reviewed FrSky and said it was super good, and people bought it, and FrSky has now become basically one of the top RC brands in the world. And because it made really good gear, the early FrSky gear, really good. You know, they had these little modules you can plug in the back of your old JR or Futaba transmitter, turn it to 2.4. They had really good receivers and that were cheap and reliable and provided excellent range. And from that, they built an RC empire. And of course, after a while, they came out with different radios. There was the 9D. And I had one, but I've lost it. Oh, here it is. Now the 9D, everyone knows the 9D, the Tyrannus. This was a really kick-ass radio. Still is a kick-ass radio to this day. But then, I don't know what happened. The QX7S, I've got this radio. I love this radio. It works really well, but it's got problems. And then they decided, oh no, hang on a minute. Whoa, we can't be backwards compatible. So when they went to the Tyrannus and the Tyrannus range of radios, suddenly a lot of the older receivers like these, you couldn't use them anymore. The ACCST, the original D series ACCST, were not compatible with the new radios. If you wanted to use those, you had to buy a module to plug in the back of your Tyrannus, which meant they kind of discounted the value. All this stuff became pretty much, useless overnight if you upgraded to, or you bought yourself a Tyrannus. And that was really kind of disappointing. This stuff worked with the DIY system and the modules, but it didn't work with the new Tyrannus radio unless you put a module in the back. So we accepted it, moved on. We got the X series receivers and the Series 2 D series receivers like the D4R2 and all that sort of stuff, and moved on. But then what happened was Jumper came out with this radio, and other people started making FrSky compatible receivers, and FrSky said, no, we need to protect ourselves. So they, as I said in a previous video, they brought out the Access system, which was not, or they claimed it gives you extra range and extra features, but the real reason they brought it out was to protect themselves against people copying or making compatible systems. And that's when FrSky started falling to pieces in a very big way. What I'm going to show you here is just some of the FrSky stuff I've got that doesn't work. And I bought a lot of this stuff recently. Let me just pull in a bit here so you can see it in its full glory. Right, FrSky sent me this module, this R9 module, 9M module, R9M, that's it, there it is. They sent this to me to review. For a start, I had to put tape on it because it didn't even fit in the module bay on the transmitter. It was all loose and sloppy and intermittent. Oh, seriously, it's not quality when you have to put tape on a module to make it fit a radio that you also make. No, unacceptable. But I put it in, tested it out. They sent me an R9 receiver, the big one. That worked fine. They sent me this receiver, the R9 Slim. There, that one there, and it never worked. And I thought, oh. So I thought maybe it's got the wrong version of firmware. I've tried every version that they have on the FrSky site. It does not work. I've tried EU, I've tried FCC, does not work. This receiver was faulty out of the box as sent for review. And that's got to be a sign that things are going badly wrong when you send out review samples that don't work. So I've never been able to get this receiver going. It doesn't work, it's crap, right? End of story. So then I went and bought a couple of R9 minis thinking, oh, well, I'll try using this thing. I bought 2 of them. This is one of them. One of them works, and I've lost it. I don't know where I put it. But this one, it doesn't bind. So I thought maybe again, it's a different version of the software because of course FrSky launched this on the market really quickly to compete with the likes of the Crossfire. And there was so many flaws and faults and problems. They've been updating the software on a very regular basis. And each time they update the software, it becomes incompatible with the previous version. So if you have the wrong version in your module versus your receiver, you won't get a bind and it won't work. So I thought, well, maybe this receiver, because I bought the receivers in 2 different places, maybe this one is in a wrong version of software and it won't bind with the module. So I tried every version of software, right from the first one through to the latest one on this receiver, and it still will not bind. So this is a faulty receiver, absolutely. So I've got 2 900 megahertz faulty receivers from FrSky. Out of the 4 receivers I've got, 2 of them are faulty. Really, seriously? That's crap. That's ridiculous. We can't afford to waste money like this on stuff where quality control is next to zero. Then I bought some XS4R, I can't remember anyway. These are, for mini quads. I bought 2 of these, genuine FrSky from FrSky in the FrSky bag with the FrSky instructions. 100 meters of range. 100 meters of range. I tried it on 3 transmitters, binding to 3 transmitters. 100 meters of range. That is not a good product. Quality control again. What was wrong with this batch that it just doesn't? I mean, if you want to fly indoors, fine. But if you want to fly outdoors, it just flies out of range. Fail safe. Boom. Again, so that's 4 faulty receivers, because I've got 2 of these. Out of, I don't know, it's crap. So I thought, well, what I'll do with the R9 system is I'll reflash the module so that I can make sure everything's on, because I don't know what version of software this came with. It doesn't tell you it. There's no way to read the module software version, okay? So you just have to flash to a known version. So I thought, I'll do that. So I went, got my QX7, put the module in the back, went to reflash the module. Oh, this is an old version of OpenTX. This is only 2.2.0. Doesn't have module flashing. You can't flash the module with that version of OpenTX. So I thought I will update the software in my radio. So I got the OpenTX companion, downloaded it, plugged it in, downloaded the software, and it says incompatible. It's not compatible with this radio. Excuse me? For some reason, I don't know why, I cannot update my 7S. My X7S will not update through Open Companion. And so I'm stuck on version 2.2.0, which means I cannot update the module. Okay, so nothing works. FrSky, you're making all this stuff. Surely it should all work together. It shouldn't be such a, a mismatched setup of things. Unbelievable. And I don't know what we do about that. But I thought, well, I know what I'll do. I'll update one of my original Tyrannus transmitters, and I'll use that to reflash the module. So I tried to update this. No, this won't update either. This is on OpenTX 1, I think it is, way, way, way back. Before it had the little hold the buttons in to activate, and before you could update, you've got to get some special software and download it and drivers and mess around and fart around. I can't be bothered. Life is too short for this kind of rubbish. I mean, seriously, when you can buy something like this and it just works straight out of the box. I've had a guts full of FrSky. So this is just a small collection of the stuff I've got, FrSky stuff I've got which I can't use, because it's either broken or it's incompatible now. Seriously. I mean, there's no reason why this stuff shouldn't work. One thing I like about the jumper is it's backwards compatible with all these older receivers, the first D-series receivers that the Tyrannus and so forth is not compatible with. And I don't have to worry about stupid stuff like access software. So I'm going to be on the lookout for the best FrSky compatible receivers, because I'm not having any luck buying FrSky. It's just too expensive. When only half the receivers you buy work, that makes them twice the price, doesn't it? And I'm not paying twice. If I wanted to spend a lot of money, I'd go with Futaba or something. I buy FrSky, or I originally bought FrSky because it was great value. It's not great value when half the stuff doesn't work. And even the stuff that does work today will not work tomorrow. Because like the new R9 modules, if you want to go with the new R9 module, you've got to have an access compatible transmitter. So if you've got an old transmitter, it's not access compatible. Oh, it's just a dog's breakfast. Seriously. We don't need this crap, FrSky. Now, FrSky don't talk to me anymore. I don't know why they sent me this, but obviously just to make me angry, because one of the, half the receivers didn't work in the package they sent me, and this thing I can't even reflash it because the QX7 won't do a reflash. So I don't know. Yeah, I'd like some feedback from you people. This is a bit of a rant from me, because after 3 days, you really just give up and say, I've had enough. So you tell me, what are your experiences with FrSky? Is it going downhill as quickly as I think it seems to be? Is FrSky yesterday's news? Should we now be running Crossfire and Jumper TX? What do we do? I mean, where do we go from here? FrSky, if you're listening, which I doubt you are because you're too busy trying to hold off your competition, you weighed in on this. Tell us why do I have this mess on my desk? with stuff that I cannot use. Why do I have that? Why should I have that? If FrSky had their head screwed on, they'd realise that competition can actually grow your market. Back in the days of long wire, yeah, we're going back a bit now, I could use a high-tech receiver with a Futaba transmitter. No problems. There was no issues with compatibility. The old FM radios, there was only positive or negative shift in. Companies made compatible receivers, and you could select whether you want to run with JR or with Futaba. And Futaba didn't have they didn't throw their hands up and scream, oh no, they're copying our software, or copying our product. No, they embraced the fact that because there were so many receivers, they sold more transmitters. You know, it made the whole hobby cheaper, more effective. It gave people a choice. FrSky want to lock you into whenever they choose, making all your stuff obsolete and making you buy new stuff again. I'm not having it. Not having it at all. I don't think anyone should be forced into that situation. So you guys tell me, am I just old and grumpy and having a fit? Or am I being simply honest, simply saying what's really happening is that FrSky are milking us by changing the protocols, changing the things and making our old gear worthless. And they can't even make stuff that works with their other stuff, not even compatible. So there you go. Thank you for watching this video. If you got comments, put them in the commenty bit and have your own little rant. In the meantime, thanks to my Patreon supporters for making this rant possible without mid-roll ads, and I will now get on with finding my crossfire system and setting it up for some long-range FPV. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.